So here we are on Enshrouded, and this is episode 6 of the Hearth Home series, and today we're going to be focusing on the workroom. So I have some bits and pieces in my pocket, and to shorten, I think this video is going to be a little bit longer than normal, and to that end I've already laid the floor down and I've already prepped the room. You will have already seen me in previous videos for the Hearth and Home series how I lay the floor and how I do things. So, you know, laying the floor should be nothing new here. You should already know about that. If you don't, please feel free to go back to the previous videos and have a look. Meanwhile, let's go and get this show on the road. As we head in, wonderful kitchen off to the right. Episode 1, Episode 2, the dining room, and the others are upstairs. Feel free to watch those if you wish. Now, obviously, I am going to put some light on the subject here, because although this is the storeroom and we have done nothing with this yet, I do want to start here. Now, I'm not going to do this room up, but what I would like to do is prepare this room, because this is going to be the entrance to the workroom. So, and let's remove that. There we go, dismantle that. Now, what I'd like to do is use one of the newer doors, so we should have the steel door here somewhere, and it's actually on my belt just here. Let's check that that will fit. Now, I think what I might do is actually move that long one there and there. And let's go. And let's just there we go. We're going to have to take the snapping off. Issue there. Issue there. Okay, I may end up having to move that barrel. Let's have a look. How are we doing there? And I am going to remove that barrel. Okay, so that's the entrance to the workroom. Now we are, or at least I am going to need some light. So let's close you. Did they land on my hotbar? They did not. Okay. So let's place you there. Place you in the corner. Now we're definitely going to want, well, I certainly want some form of decoration here. So I'm thinking this wall here, tapestry will just about fit. Not up there, round about there. We have something there. Then for this wall heading down into the workroom, I'm thinking, now, as I've always said, now see there's that little shield which says it up. Hopefully, I wonder if that is a good marker to use. Let's place that. Okay. Again, you know, I always struggle with these mosaics as to which way up it is. But I'm thinking this will make some nice decoration above the door, and no, in actual fact, so that has come out the wrong way. You know, again, I would hasten to add, I always struggle with this. You know, if you can, I would take that out and I would actually have it so that it is up the correct way, because I don't like it the way it is. I don't like it being wrong, but for the purposes of this video I will leave it as it is, because I would normally have something like this over the top just as a bit of added decoration on your way down. So down here, as you can see, I have replaced the floor with the new Albany granite blocks. I love these. As much as I love my wood, you know, textures and everything and the looks of it, you know, it doesn't feel right for a workroom. Obviously, you can see that I've left some things laying around because I think, you know, again, add to an authentic look. And obviously, I left the little secret door here, you know, which actually has the chest in. Again, you know, you want to make sure that you loot this. Take the stuff out if you want it. You're going to need to take it out. Because once it's looted and you've dismantled it, that's it. It's gone. No more. That is a deceased secret room. So it won't... you won't be able to take anything from there anymore. So, as you can see, so far I've cleared it out mostly. I've laid down the floor and I've even placed up the ceiling. I've used the granite blocks as ceiling as well, because obviously underneath there you can see the kitchen floor and you can see everything from above. So I've laid that granite over the top to give us a nice even ceiling. Now, I'm going to place it there. There, so we've got a few lights around to begin with. And let me get the others. Not you, not the blocks. Again, you know, down here it gives me a bit of room to work in. Now, I think this is brilliant as a workroom. I absolutely love the idea of having this as a workroom, and I've done that on a couple of playthroughs where I have made this the workroom. However, I can't help thinking that if you want to go for a little bit more accuracy, I mean, would you really put the blacksmith down here? You know, he's working by a hot forge, all those smelters and everything else. Chances are, if you're like that, then you might want to use the upstairs barns there, and actually place him in there and have your workrooms up above. And if you do, I think that's a good idea. Me personally, I like to use down here, and so this is what I've chosen for the workroom. But I can understand if you would want to put it up there. Obviously down here, you know, you could have multiple uses down here. You could have rooms coming off of this one specifically. You know, this would be this, if you want to include all the NPCs maybe in this build, this could perhaps be your bar. You know, this could be the bar and kitchen area. You could have your bar, your kitchen area behind here, serve all your food, you know, all your work pieces for the kitchen back here. You know, you might even want to move this back a bit, you know, maybe over here, section this bit off, have a little bathroom or toilet, obviously, for the patrons of that. I mean, or even maybe just bring that down and use that area there since it's already in there, or maybe use that as a store. And then obviously, you know, around here you would perhaps have your tables and chairs around these pillars. You know, you could make a nice little area down here where Valerie could, you know, sing all of her songs, your NPCs could gather, have a drink and make merry. And if you didn't particularly want the door there, you could always put stairways going off out there and up to the top. So there's a variety of uses for this room that I think you could use. However, today we have opted to use this as a workroom. So what I am going to do is I'm going to start first of all laying out the benches into the areas that I want them. And I'm thinking over here, I'm going to go with the hunter. So I'm just going, this may not be where they finish, but this is definitely where I am going to start off. So I'm going to place that there. I'm not sure that I'll have both spindles. I'll place that one just there. Okay, I already have that on my hotbar. Let's get rid of you. So decide I don't want that there, and I'm also going to place you in the corner there. In actual fact, I am going to dismantle you. I'm going to pick you up, and I am going to move you over here. No, you that way. If I had, I would perhaps move them a little bit more away from the wall, perhaps. But for the moment, they're fine just there. Okay, now the workbench, an all-purpose workbench. I'm actually going to move you over to here, I think. Which you're going to take snapping off so I can place you. There we go. Now, actually, I'm thinking this area here. I'm going to put Cade. Now, I don't want it exactly square on. I'm going to put the wood cutting just there. Right, where's the kiln? Keep all the hot stuff into one area because I'm thinking place you just there. So we have the workbenches there, that's just there. And what else does he have? No, I've forgotten to place the loom for the hunter. Masonry tools can go just there. I'm thinking, in actual fact, you can get picked up. Thinking perhaps more, a little bit more this way. There we go. So that gives us a little bit more room to play with there. Like I said, I've forgotten to put down the loom. I'm not actually going to place the little hand spindle at all since we already have one. If I was doing this, I might actually have two of the other types of spindle. We've got the kiln there. And no, okay, we're good. But yes, as I said, the new Alchemy in there. I am going to place that, and I'm also going to place that. Go there, or maybe I'm thinking we will slot that in just here. Okay, so we can reach both. Again, you could reach all of these, you know, and flip around there. Okay, so that's the sort of areas we're going to want. We haven't even begun to decorate yet. This area, I always separate Balthazar. You know, I always insinuate that he may not be the best person with his explosive powders, spells, and everything else. So I always generally tend to separate him from everybody else. I'm going to place that in there. When you consider that he made the what are the flame capsules that you come out of? The word escapes me at the moment, but since he created those, I mean, he's obviously quite careful and knows what he's doing. I always generally tend to insinuate that, you know, he may not be as careful and with all those explosives and powders around. I don't think I really give Balthazar the credit he deserves, to be honest. Right, so now we've got that on there. Right, now I would probably do something entirely separate for this, but I am going to place it over here at the moment. So again, it's in line with the alchemy stuff. Okay, where did I place the... there's the grinder. Let's bring those down. So we're going to need more. I've actually got some tables and stuff that I'd like to put this on, but for the moment we will rest you. Well, you're probably better over here. Yep, collect you. And can we place that down somewhat there? We can. Let's pop you on there for the moment. And you can... there we go. Let's pop you on there for the moment. I'm not saying that's the final places for them, but... that's that. And now I want all of these down here. Start out with the smith's area. We're going to do something slightly different with the forge and the smith. So I'm thinking, which is very rare for me. I try not to think. It's normally quite dangerous. Mostly to myself. Right, let's place that down there. Okay, and I am going to place these into all. And the reason I would have three is obviously a difference between. I can be. You know, I prefer things to be quite simple. So you know, there's one for iron, one for copper, and probably one for tin and bronze. I mean, you can use them for whatever you want. There we go. But I'm going to place those three down there, and I'm also going to place Now, you can go just... Now I'm thinking I already have that there, so I would go, perhaps go there. I'm going to place you in... Yeah, I'm almost tempted to do that slightly. Let's move you back a bit. Again, I don't want you glitching into that. Okay, let's pop you there. That feels too crowded. I don't like that. It's way too crowded for my liking. Okay, let's move you. No, because I know what I would like to do there. Okay, let's paste you there for the moment. And tools. Those we can get away with. Right, let's place you that way. Yeah, you're more likely to be at this end. There we go. Let's place you in just there. Right, okay, so that's what we have for the moment. And I do say for the moment. Now I'm going to want... Now, where are we going to put our magic chests, our storages? Okay, so I have the tools on me. I'm going to bring all of you lot down. You'll probably see on quite a few of my videos where I do this. Now, let me think. Each one is... Okay. Right, so, going along the bottom... I'd actually like to... No, we'll work on the forge first of all. I like to do an extra thing for the forge. Again, you may have seen this in some of the videos. Let's do this section first. Let's get it out the way and done. I'm going to place you just there. Let's have you... Right. I'm going to pull you... Right, there we go. Now I'm going to go and place, this is it, the 4 meter by 4 meter floor. Remove you and replace walls. Now, if you're wondering what I'm doing here, I'm just creating a different kind of forge. This is just like an added extra to give your workroom feel. I mean, you know, if you're not particularly bothered about adding a little extra piece or a little extra show thing for it, I mean, then to be honest with you, you could probably skip forward about 8 minutes. I personally like to add these little touches in, and if you're interested in how I would do my forges, then, you know, keep watching. You know, if you just want to see the setup of this and how I would do it, then say it, you might want to skip past this. I've done that wrong and you wrong. Okay. And there. Right. Now we have that. Did I bring the door with me? I did not bring the door with me. We are going to go and get that. In fact, I'm missing a lot of the deco for this, so we're going to go and get those. So we're going to add a working fire to this forge area. And I don't mean the kind of fire that keeps you warm. Let's take that. That. Bellows. And those two. Taking the extra door as well, just in case. Forge area. Okay. Going to take those torches just in case we need them. I don't think we will. Don't see any... wait. Yes, of course I will. I'll want the grates. I will definitely want the grates. Okay, and I believe that's it. Yes, okay, I have everything I need for that. I have the blocks I need. I sometimes think adding little touches like this make a difference to your base. If you're the type of person who likes to show off your base, then you know this is definitely going to be something that you are going to want to do. If of course you're not that bothered and you want to go for just practicality, then you know this is very good. It is very practical, but this piece just really isn't necessary. You know, this is just quite literally a showpiece. And you'll have to tell me in the comments whether you agree. You know, do you like what's being done here? Is this the sort of thing you would include in your base? You know, do you think it's too showy? Do you think in actual fact it's just a waste of materials doing something like this? You'll have to let me know down in the comments. I have a friend who is extremely practical, and if there's one thing he says about all of my bases on every game, he's like, my goodness, Talib, why did you bother putting that table and chairs there? That is such a waste of materials. I quite often hear him lamenting. Now, obviously, in this game, it's, you know, it's a bit different. I'm actually going to be able to get through there. Okay. So I raised that too high. So I'm going to need to remove you for the moment. Pick you up. Okay. For the moment, I put that in a little bit too soon. I want some light. And I keep forgetting because of the new system I won't need to do that anymore. Okay, and I'm going to sink you right down. And you there. There. You there. And you there. Okay. And then what I want to do is, so we have all of our names there. It did not go on there. Right, okay. And I want that there. No, 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 I don't want you. I mean, you can certainly stand against that back wall. That's fine. Now, let's head in there. Thankfully it doesn't set me on fire, which is a relief. However, I'm not going to be able to put that there without... So, okay, so we're about as high as we can go, just there. Take it down just slightly. There. Right, okay. Now, let's fill those in again. You just there. You just there. You know, actually that lip would do. I might normally put some more blocks across there, but actually you do want to be able to see in there slightly. So that's fine. Let's put clipping back on. Snapping back on, sorry. Let's place you there. Okay, so we have that. Now let's open that up. There we go. Now we have our decorations. Let's have a look. Which way is the book facing? Let's put you up there a minute. Let's go first person. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's pop you just there. See if we can place you up slightly into the ceiling so we have a hook. And of course this is the point where I realise that I probably can't get out. So I'm going to step out right now. Go back. You there. You there. It's just a little bit of decoration, really. There we go. Maybe if we want to, of course, place those there, so we can't. But that's fine as it is, essentially. We might place you there. There. Okay. Right. So, having done that, now we have those in place. Let's focus on the outside. See how far we can push these in. Okay, I'm done with the chains. Let's take you off. I'm done with the lighting there. Let's take you off. We know we're not going to be using you. You are part of the decoration. We'll leave you on. I think we're using them part of the decoration. Yep, I have another one of you. Possibly you too. I'm going to place the other ones at the top. Let's take you, and we don't have room for you apparently, but I am now done with you. Okay, so let's see if we can. Oh, okay, let's take clipping, let's take snapping off. Keep calling it clipping. Okay, so that will not go in any further there at the moment. I would have to slide that along the floor and it may actually come out there. Okay, I was hoping to be able to push that in just a little bit there. You can see it just a little bit too much. Right. Can I push it any further back? I wonder. No, I can move it around side to side. No, okay, so we'll try doing this differently. Slightly differently. Okay. Right. First things first, let's place our... there. And... there. And... okay, there's the bellows. See, I don't want it sticking out too far. That would not be good there anyway. I mean, you can order this any way you want, at least, but you can see what I'm doing. And as per usual, we may have a problem putting it on there, at least for the time being. Okay, pick you up for the moment. Place you there. Okay, let's go back. Place you there. Can we now sit you on top? We'd have to push you in slightly there. There. That is slightly a little bit off. Right, there we go. Again, my sight is not always good. Those look to be sat on there to me. We have the chains down there. Fortunately, I can't use those two. I wish I could push them back into the wall. Might be nice if you have one or two of those along there. Right. There we go. So an added part of the blacksmith's area here. So you have these flames going there. Right, I wonder. Let's pick that up. Okay. I'm going to raise that slightly up because we actually want the flame to be slightly seen there. Now let's test it. Yeah, we need that moving over, really. Try and get a flame coming through. That maybe needs to be a little bit lower, I think. And a little bit further back. Okay, let's place it just there instead. And we want it slightly higher. Okay, can we have the flames licking through the top? Not quite. We want that slightly higher again. Probably too high. Let's try there. Obviously, if it is too high, then this may not sit back on it. There we go. That's what I would like. We'll just push that back slightly. Of course, I don't think you'd have flames coming off it that much for crying out loud, but again, I could always lower it down a bit, I guess. But at least for the moment, there we go. So have that there, plus it adds a little bit more light, which again, you know, I am always a big fan of. Okay, so we have this area. So that's the blacksmith's area. Now, I want to move you along because I would very much like to use this space as something slightly different. Let's place you there. So we have this area, and obviously we have the blacksmith. Right, so, which leaves me to... Right. One. First person, there we go. I sometimes forget that we've got all these tools available to us. I guess because I've been doing this since the beginning, I sometimes forget how much they've added to the game. And how much they've made life easier. It's a real bad habit of mine. I can be very, very forgetful at times. And... Right, so come down there. Now, that's what I want. Pop you there. Not you. Yes, you. There we go. There. And there. Let's just check that we have that correctly, the spacing. Now, obviously I only have 6 here. You can put in as many as you like. The reason I do them with this, I mean, you could use the yellow, you could use any luminescent block that you want to. I generally tend to use this one because for me it's slightly more visible. Okay, that's where the next block's going to be. Let's clear you out. So the next box is going to be able to go on top there. 2, 3, 4, yep. So then I want you cleared out. Okay. There, there, and bring you down there, and pop you there. Okay. Now, I'm not entirely sure I'm going to be able to reach that, so as per usual, build a little... Just pop a little platform there for a moment, just so I can do this section. There we go. Let's pop you in there. There. There we go. So, and remove you. There we go. So we have a nice outlined magic box wall here. Now, obviously, you could have more than that. You could have less than that. You could have a whole section entirely. In fact, I'm pretty sure if I pick that up, if I use the space to more effect, you know, I'm pretty sure that we could fit a lot more in there. I mean, hell, if you wanted to, you could even fit all your magic boxes down here. Look, you've got a whole wall that you could use here. I personally put them there, again, because it's just ease of use. Normally, if you're spawning in from your flame altar, and I've put mine by that little bridge outside, you know, you're going to be running in with all your items in here, and you're going to want to run in here and place all the items in. Okay. Going to add this, so it's still open but has that partition. Have I actually just placed them on correctly? Are they linked up? They look like it. Again, my depth perception can be way off sometimes. I see it, and they've come through there. That's fine. I wonder if we could... I wonder if I could just get it slightly one more in. It shouldn't really be that much of a bother, I know. I was to place that there. Let it go. Wow. No, I wouldn't be happy with it like that. Obviously, it's entirely up to yourselves how you would have it. Whether you'd be comfortable with that or not. You have to decide. I personally wouldn't be happy with it sticking out there. I'm going to try and make sure that that is down to the floor there. Again, you don't do personal preference, really. Okay, so that's separated that. I won't put any separation in here because I want to be able to run around here as a player and access as many things as possible. Now, here's what I would do, and I won't do it on this video, and I may do it in another one, but I would be tempted to make myself a further tunnel here, to dig this out as a doorway and have steps going down, and I would perhaps turn that into a crypt area whereby I could then place the ectoplasm press and Arden, I always call him the creepy guy. So I would probably do that with him, place something else there. But for the present time, and for the time length of this video, I may do that some other time. Again, if you would like to see that, if you would like me to see me build a creepy underground section for him, let me know in the comments. And obviously, if you don't, I mean, you get the general idea there. Okay, so let's grab the rest of this stuff. The rest of it is probably purely decoration. Do you know what? I feel like we shouldn't need the blocks anymore, to be honest. I take those. I'm done with the ectoplasm. Rough cut stone we might need. You get rid of it. Okay, so you will no longer go in there. Leave all you. Of course not, because I filled it all up. Keep filling all these boxes up. Let's just take more decorations. Never have enough decos. Again. Right, so I definitely don't need you in my inventory. Nor you, nor you, nor you, nor you. Don't need you. Don't need you. Don't need the books. Don't need that. Sure as hell don't need that. Small stone process. I doubt it. Secret door. Not going to use. Okay. Torches, I think unlikely. I could come back and get them. And you two, probably not. Maybe. Unlikely, but we'll keep them anyway. Okay. Okay, there we go. Well, we've just gone and taken everything there. Good start. I can come back for the rest of it. Nothing else I feel like I necessarily need. There are some show things in there. Right, either way, let's just get to decorating. Then I can come back for any of those other last little bits for some final touches. So as you can see, we already have our vault door there. And we have enough decoration going on the inside. Magic box is there. Right. Now, alchemical area. Let's bring that down. There. And did I bring the... Yes, I did. Case, you, and you. Right, so Balthazar. Being very academical, let's place you there. Take snapping off. Let's give him a writing desk. Just there. Do you know what? I don't actually want you there. I would much prefer you there. There we go. You can leave the bucket there, I guess. You down there and the chair. Okay. Let's have the chair at a slight slant, shall we? Don't want it straight on. Looks far too strategically placed if I have it square onto the table. First thing we're going to do here for most of the shelves of the bookcase, not all of them, is place our books. There we go. Now, obviously, as I've said, you know, with your workroom, it doesn't have to be decorated. You don't really have to do any of this if you don't want to. We're going to place, yep, you and you. Where's the grinder? We have placed the grinder there. Say we. I have placed the grinder there. I'll place you there. Take you off and place you on there in... Let's try and get you there. Turn you around maybe, facing away, otherwise it would look like you might fall over. In the first place, let's place you underneath. Maybe you're catching excess dust. Or whatever you're grinding there. Be a barrel for the corner, that's a little on the large side. So let's go just there maybe. And the wardrobe on the end there. There we go. So again, yeah, your alchemy area is already starting to fill up slightly. Right, that's fine. Do I have things I want to put on those shelves? Well, definitely alchemy style tools. Can we place you on that? We can indeed. There we go. Let's have those there. So already we're starting to have a little area here that the Balthazar might actually enjoy working in. Okay, let's place you up on the wall, just behind the desk there, and also that have there's some of these down there for it. Yeah, I definitely feel like those barrels are too big. Already used you and you. Right, so let's add you to the area. Place you there, just for a little decoration. Okay. Whoa, bit big. Let's find an area that we can put you in. Not just yet. Spare pot down here. And what do we have there? Limestone vases. Let's place some of those down. Again, we have a nice wooden counter there. Basically, so we have the shelves that way. Place you there. Did I bring the display cases in with me? I did not. Of course I didn't. I knew I was going to... Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I did. I see them. Now... Yeah, we're not really going to fit just there, are you? Not properly. How am I going to be able to fit you at all? I don't know, we'll see how that goes. And you're going to be slightly higher, I know that. It's not too bad. Yeah, I wish I could have those a little bit smaller, but I can live with that. Okay, let's place you there. You're a spare. That could we place you behind, maybe? No, you're a little bit on the big side. Okay, so it's just there. And issue there. I'd be more tempted to let's place the sink just there. The barrel went down my hot pad, didn't it? Why do I not see it? As I said, I'm not sure. You could have the ectoplasm there. I'm thinking. I'm going to have you just there for a minute. To the other side. Just there. Noise. I swear I picked up that barrel. Felt sure I picked up. Did I actually disintegrate that? No, there's the barrels. I'd lost them for a moment there. Properly lost them. Okay. Let's again place you there. Now. Oh, we are going to do something with this area here with Arden for the moment. Just as something a little on the unusual side. And we're going to go for the green. That would actually be better with the ectoplasm, I think. Actually, I'm not going to change it now. Again, length of time. But I would probably use the ectoplasm instead of the green. Not keen on that green. as I said, I would probably do an entirely separate area for him and for the ectoplasm machine. I feel like they do deserve it. But for the time being, if you was to do a workshop here, I would probably do something like that. I would use the ectoplasm behind them and probably put some down the sides as well, so it's enclosed, and put bones over the top. Let's quickly decorate this. There we go, so we have the hallowed wall displays there. I would probably put the, I don't have one on me, but I would probably put one of the VUCA on there. I tell you what, let's do something different. I probably would actually put the VUCA ceremonial thing in there. Let's pick you up. I'm actually, for the time being, going to do... dismantle you for the moment. Yeah, okay. So of course you're going to do that. Place you there. Okay, so that closes that off for the moment. And of course I didn't bring the other door with me because I said, oh, I won't need the other door. Yeah, I lied. I lied. We are totally going to need the other door for that. But what would I do here? I wonder... Okay, so this is very much... Very sorry, but this is very much me just playing around here. This is the thing. I sometimes get these ideas to toy around with things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Okay, let's bring you down the same. Push it back a bit. Glitching in too much and round up a little bit more. Not quite the way they were supposed to be used, but you know what? I'm not gonna sniff at that. Again, I want you forward a bit. Okay. Place you in between, but just forward slightly. I'd almost be tempted to put a green torch under this bowl here, you know. Have a green flame flicking out the front there. I actually don't have one on me, but I would do that. Again, if you had the ectoplasm behind instead of the snakes, you could even change that out maybe for the luminescent yellow, for the Lunar New Year's blocks, which really wouldn't go badly with it, I don't think. Not sure how much the skull would be. But again, you know, I would probably not have the ectoplasm press there. I would probably change that around somewhat. Right, focused way too much over there. Right, you're off, you're off. You can get off. And you. Right. I want some more of the smith stuff. Do a little bit of decoration on that area. You can stay. Down there. Maybe you down there. I perhaps haven't finished with you after all. Okay, that's good. Right, so... how close can we get them? To there, and... there, okay. Again, I would go perhaps one over each. So let's have you there, you there. Okay, there and there. Now, bows. I get the feeling that Cade is probably more in tune with bows. I see that spot up there that I've missed. Probably shouldn't point that out on the video. But okay, I'm going to put you there. You there. Could we Put a sneaky one on that corner. No, I'm not going to try and push that. I might actually try and sneak one on there, but not right now. What else do we have there? We have the shields. We have... Yep. I have that. So I didn't bring the others with me. So definitely need to get some of those. But I'm feeling that maybe it's going to be tight there. And again, maybe one there. Let me have one of those. Let's decorate this centerpiece here. There we go. Let's place you up there. And right, let's go and get... You just closed it on yourself. Well done, Tal. Well done. You're going to close it on yourself. Let's get these final little bits and pieces done. But I figure we are pretty close to being done on that. Okay, do I need any of that? Scanning it. Don't believe so. Okay, there's only a couple of things I saw there. I might need that. I might need you. I might need you. And I might need you. Other than that, everything else... Don't want you. Yep, everything else is done with in there. Take you and... take you for the final pieces. Okay. We are very nearly done with this. I mean, there are a ton of ideas I'm sure you could have come up with here. I'm always tempted to put that there. Don't worry, I see an empty wall and it's almost like, oh my goodness, what can we put there? Like, I have to stop filling walls with stuff. I really do. It's like, oh my goodness, an empty wall, it needs a decoration. No, it doesn't necessarily need decorating, Tal. Just leave it alone. Step away from the wall. Two-handed melee weapons. Let's go. You there. You there. What do we have here? Not the wand? No. One-handed. Let's go with you just below there. And there. Then of course we could, if I had not placed that torch there. I mean, it's not like we don't have enough light anyway. Yep, of course. Why would I not pick that up? Of course I would. Guaranteed, isn't it? Right, again, let's try and position you. Let's move you down a bit. Our flame coming out. At least roughly on the grill. I said that flame's a little bit too high for my liking, but hey. One-handed melee weapons. Again, let's go. Thinking just there. Two-handed just there. You actually sat on that, that's fine. Okay, so we have that little area there, that's fine. Now we're going to go around here. You could fit so much more. Wand wall mounts, well, seems very appropriate that they would go in this area. I never put too many of these around, to be honest. I'm going to have one there, one there. That's two-handed weapons. That's for the staves, and I'm going to have you just there. If you wanted to put a few more on, I suppose we could have one just up there as well. I'm trying to line that up there. There we go. Right, now let's place... Well, I'm going to place you on top there. And let's bring you down there. To be there. Now, obviously, with that banner at the back, you know, replacing candles there, you know, we're twice as likely to set things on fire. But hey, this is a game. This is not Valheim, okay? We are not going to set things on fire here. We haven't got to worry about smoke. Thank goodness. Let's take the pieces there. And you. Oh, we're out of space, did we? Yeah, of course we did. Cool. First of all, what's he reading? Who knows? Let's place the book desk there. We have there. There's the perhaps spare ink or something. But either way, we'll have those collections there. Let's place that further down underneath there. We'll have a couple of those. And so one of you, we're going to have you over here, just a regular. Get off my hotbar, you lot. Do want you. Where did I put this? I was going to say, where did I put the small ones? I've already used you, so we're not going to be using you again. Don't think. I'm going to place you back there, just as more decoration. Back there. Want to place you, since you're running solo, we don't have more of you. You can go on there, and then on there, on there. Okay, let's put Balthazar's crystal ball on there. There's the slightly smaller, I want one. There you go, there's your ink Balthazar. Let's now pop some of these little potion bottles and such back there. Okay, and I am going to place another one that side just to fill in that gap. I can't quite see that, even if I go first person. That might be a little on the crowded side maybe, but you know what, I'm going to do it. There we go. And obviously Alchemy is thirsty work, so go Balthazar. Here's your cup on that side. Don't get it mixed up with your ink, mate. Okay, go dipping your quill in your drink. That will probably not end well for you. There we go. So we have our little writing desk at the end where he can write down his notes and formulas and such. We have our shelf over there decorated. Let's finish off. Right. We'll put Helix up there. And we'll put Ritual Tempest on there. And Shroud Weaver there. Oh, that's a lovely glowing blue there, isn't it? And there we go. Is that the Staff of the Taurus? No, it's Mirage. Again, shows how good my eyesight is. So we'll have Mirage just there. Right. So I feel like this is our alchemy area. I feel like this is done now. We can leave this alone. We have more than enough going on here. I mean, you can always, you know, you can always fit little pots and all sorts in there. Look, you can even add, if you want to give it that special touch, drop a few more bottles on there, you know. That way it will look different from anybody else's. It's just a slight touch and, you know, people may not even notice it. It's so small, but there you go. So that is our alchemy room. Now I'm going to walk away from this before I start adding more touches. I'm forever tweaking this and, you know, changing that and there. Now we don't have a lot over in Althane's area at the moment. To be honest with you, what I might do here is, I don't have them on me, but I would perhaps put some fur rugs down here, which would go very well with the things that we've got going on here. I would perhaps have some more bows up on the wall as well, because obviously she's a huntress. So that would be very fitting here. Maybe even a shield or something for decoration, and maybe some banners. Maybe a hollow horse or something like that. Obviously over here, let's just finish his off. There we go, Avalanche. That's a lovely bow. My ranger uses that one. And Forsaken. There we go. So we have a couple of bows up there. But you can see already when we start to put a few decorations down, I think a banner in the centre here would be very nice and would break up that wall. You know, again, maybe using those wooden partitioners I've used up there behind those would be good. Again, so you could put a few touches and decorations around there, and you can already see this workroom is beginning to come alive. You know, you come down here, you start to put your stuff away. I haven't put the secret door over that. You could, or maybe not, your choice. And yeah, as I said, you can already see that this is really starting to come alive down here. Just with a few touches, just with a few decorations. There you go, let's stick your head over there. Burn. And that... I don't know if I have any shields left from that. Actually, maybe no, used them all on the armory. Let's. Don't care. We are going to finish this. Issue in there. There we go. And there we go. So we have those there, those decorations there and there. So there we go. This is the blacksmith's area. Again, I feel that we are pretty much done. I'm going to steal the shields for those. I am. I can't help it. Get these shields up so I can finish up. So we can at least see the final product. I'm pretty sure you already have an idea of what it looks like. But I feel like I've already cut some corners on that. And of course... Right, so that is the final product. Probably would have used brightly coloured shields, you know, better shields than that. But there you go, we have our shields above there. As you can see, this is all now decorated. As I said, this place has very much come alive. And by the time you add your NPCs, you know, Oswald, Balthazar, Althane, you know, then they all have a nice place down here. You can see there's still room to move. You have a full working room here, you know, where you can make all of your ingredients, all of your materials. Pop them all in the chest over here, and not only that, you have quite a showy place here as well, or at least in my opinion. Obviously, you know, it's down to personal preference how you like your places. You know, maybe there is a waste of too many materials here, or maybe you would do more. Either way, if you have any comments on how you would do it, or whether you would change anything, or what you would do with that, then, you know, please drop those down in the comments and let me know. I would really be interested to see, you know, what you might do, or your ideas, you know, or even suggestions. But there you go. That is my idea of a workroom. As I said, if you want a bit more reality, you might put your workrooms out here where it might be a bit cooler for the smith and that. But mine's downstairs in the basement, and that is it for Hearth Home episode 6. That is my idea of a workroom, and I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you get any ideas from that, then good. So without further ado, wherever you are in the world, you know, whether it's morning, afternoon or evening, I hope you're having a good time, and until next time, bye for now.